Go on YouTube. Trust you guys are all doing well. World Cup qualifying has ended for most teams, so congrats to those that made it to the World Cup. Better luck next time for a few of the big teams that missed out, such as Chile and the Netherlands, and good luck to all those in the playoffs. With that being said, the Premier League is back, guys, and back it is with a bang. The first match of this weekend is Liverpool versus Manchester United. So let's get into it. So as I said, Premier League is back with a bang, and it starts with Liverpool versus Manchester United. Historically, it's the biggest game based on both teams being the most successful teams in England. The intense rivalry over the years has just made this game a worldwide phenomenon, you could say. Maybe it's the English Classico. Anyways, let's get into it. And talking points for this one are the injured players, where you know that Sadio Mane got injured on international duty, so he won't play. So too Marouane Fellaini for Manchester United, so those two won't play. The only thing we can hope for is that this game doesn't descend into a drab squib, meaning it's not a boring game where Jose, even though he can let the players roam free, give them a little bit more space to express themselves, he might just turn this into a tactical battle where it's tit for tat. I hope not, and I hope we push Liverpool. Their defense isn't good. It's been horrendous for a while now. They haven't addressed it. I'm hoping we go at them. And with Herrera coming into the midfield, he can play those telling balls to the forwards. Rashford, Lukaku. I'm hoping Martial starts Martial, because if we use our pace to get at them, I think we'll do very well. My score prediction for this game is Liverpool 1, Manchester United 2, because they do have good attackers. They can attack. However, it's their defense that poses the problem for them. So I'm going for a Man United win with Liverpool 1, Manchester United 2. So with that being said, let's go into the later kickoffs. So the first one we'll look at is Burnley versus West Ham. And the main talking point are Slaven Bilic's future as manager of West Ham, and how underrated I think Sean Dyche is. So let's talk about Sean Dyche first. So people say they're a long ball team, etc., etc. However, they're working on a shoestring budget, and he gets the best out of the players, and they have a system that works. They say if it's not broke, why change it? So Dyche has been pretty much getting players who will fit into his system and carry out his mandate, which has worked pretty well for them. They're in the league now consistently for about 2 years running. So everybody had them to go down, but yet they defied the odds based on their great home form, and they're still here. This is no different, where their home form is what carries them. So I don't see West Ham getting the better of them in this match. I do see a draw. With that being said, let's go to West Ham. Bilic has won the last 2 games, albeit it's one in the League Cup and the other in the Premier League. I think they beat Huddersfield, but they probably had lost versus Newcastle, I think. So it's been topsy-turvy for West Ham, hence why he's under pressure. I do think they should stick with him, because the team, he bought a few new players and it's just taking a little bit more time to gel. But as you see, he got them to 5th a couple seasons ago, so that was pretty good. Alright, so the next thing in this game is the fact that Sean Dyche and Burnley, they have just been smashing the stats people. If you look at it, they're allowing the most shots, they're conceding the most possession, you name it, yet they're 6th. So take that stats, man. As I said though, I see this game drawing. I see it as a 1-1 draw. Alright, so let's go to the second match, and that's Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. The main talking points are the fact that Wilfred Zaha is back for Crystal Palace, so hopefully he can bring some urgency and some goals to their attack, because They haven't scored a goal in this season as yet, which is pretty woeful. Their best players have been defenders and they're still getting smashed. So imagine that. The other talking point would be the fact that Antonio Conte is without Kante and Alvaro Morata. So it's to see how he will shuffle his pack to get the best out of the other players that he has. He doesn't trust Batshuayi, so I'm not sure if he'll start him. That's the first thing. With Conte being injured, he won't get that same relentless running in the engine room. He will have to hope Bakayoko and Fabregas can hold the fort in his absence. So this would have been a good time to them having Matic. So they don't thanks for Matic, Chelsea. But let's just see if this is a game Palace tries and get some points on the board. Alright, so the third of the late kickoffs would be Manchester City versus Stoke City. So really and truly, City have been, attacking wise, devastating. As I was telling friends of mine earlier, that City are the team to watch. If we finish above City, I'm sure we win the league. So with that being said, the talking points are the fact that they've scored 5 goals in their last 2 home matches. Can they make it a third? And the other is the Jekyll and Hyde called Stoke City, where today they'll play you off the park. Tomorrow they're absolute crap. So are they going to turn up and give City a game? Or will they roll over and die and take 5-0? Just saying. What we know for sure is that Delph, who I was raving about in another video, that he played well when he reverted to a left back role, he's injured. It's such a tough break for him because he's always having these niggling injuries once he starts to get a run, which is pretty sad for any player. Don't care that it's Man City. I don't like to see players get injured, so we can only hope it's not too long term of an injury, because he really deserves a few games in the first team. But that being said, I don't see Stoke getting anything out of this game, in all honesty. They shouldn't have gotten any versus Man United. We got the chances, we just didn't score. So I'm going for a City win here, and City to win 3-1. Quick thing I should also mention is the form of Kevin De Bruyne. I've always rated that guy from he was at Chelsea, even before. I remember somebody had said, yo, there's this kid called De Bruyne. You should watch him. He is pretty good. When he went to Chelsea, I've always was saying, why doesn't Mourinho play him more? They say he has a reputation of not playing young players, but I mean, every match I saw him play or he was given a chance by Mourinho, he balled. Yet there are some rumblings that he wasn't applying himself enough, etc. But I don't think that was true. I just think it's one of those things. But he moved on, and now he's at City, and he is absolutely crushing it. So Stoke City better watch out for him. Okay, the next match we're looking at is Swansea versus Huddersfield. So the main talking points here: Renato Sanchez, can he get going? He started I think all of the matches since he's gotten there from Bayern Munich, but he's been pretty wasteful with position, etc. He's not getting to show his best attributes. The next thing to look at is the fact that Huddersfield have been excellent so far. They've lost a few games, but that's expected of a team that just came up. But they're doing pretty well. But the fact that they aren't in the relegation places right now, in fact, they're just like, I think it's a point off the top 10, which is great for the first couple of matches, if you ask me. Now, let us think about what are the main factors in this game, and its goals. Huddersfield have been scoring, you can say that, but Swansea are just horrible. They haven't been able to score. They got back Wilfred Bonny, but he's taking a time to settle back in, it looks like. So if they score, I feel like they're going to win. But we also know that Huddersfield is pretty tough as it gets to organization and keeping their shape, etc. Plus, they can hit you with the sucker punch because they do have good players going forward. So, with that being said, I see this as Swansea. I'm just going to go for Swansea edging it 2-1. Yeah. The next game to look at is Tottenham versus Bournemouth. So, let's see. Talking points. The Wembley curse. So, Tottenham will be home for this game, being Wembley. So, can they break the curse? So, they've been playing pretty well in lots of matches, but just not winning. So, let's see if they can get over that hump. I feel as if they do get over the hump, then a lot of teams will get battered there. Because, as you know, they have Kane. Not even Harry. Kane. And that guy is on form. 15 goals in the last 10 games for club and country shows that August little patch is out of the way. He doesn't do well in August, but you can see that he's picked up his goal scoring. In terms of Bournemouth, they have been pretty decent. I mean, they're in the relegation zone, but they've been playing well. So I do expect Jermaine Defoe to score his goals this season, as that's the type of guy he is. He's a poacher. He will score goals. Then Bournemouth will just need to focus on their defense. They need to keep a few clean sheets. If they can do that, I think they will be fine. But given the fact that it's Tottenham and how they've been playing, I am tempted to say they'll win 4-1. So that's my score prediction for this one. 4-1 to Tottenham. So let's look at the next match in that bracket. However, this is the last match on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. And that is Watford versus Arsenal. And this is at Vicarage Road at Watford. The talking points in this one. Does Arsene Wenger have a defense? Because Shelny got injured in the match prior. Mustafi got injured as well. If I remember correctly, Sead Kolasinac limped out of the Bosnia game in midweek in the qualifying. So he is possibly out with an injury. So who are the players that Arsene Wenger will trust to play in the defense? Yes, I think Holding will play. I'm not sure about anybody else. Maybe Monreal, definitely. But those central spots will be pretty important. So who does he play there? The next thing is Jack Wilshere is back. Can you believe it? Will he play or won't he play? Will he be added or won't he be added? So that's a good question. He's been showing glimpses of his old self. I've always rated Wilshere. I mean, I remember when he pretty much outperformed Barca's midfield, and that was when they had Iniesta, Xavi, and a few other those guys. So he can play. He's just always getting injured, which is sad. What I don't want people to think though is that Watford will get steamrolled. That's not the case. Yes, Man City may have beaten them by 5-0, but they were pretty much in that game for large periods where if they had scored, the tide could have easily changed. So I really do think this match is a potential banana peel. So let's see what happens. My thing as well is that they've been playing pretty well, Arsenal, without Ozil. Will he play or won't he play? What will Wenger do to keep his squad happy? All of those things. So I just have to see what happens. Score prediction actually still give Arsenal a slight edge. So I'm going 2-1 to them. That's 2-1 to Arsenal. The next match now is Brighton versus Everton. This is on Sunday. This being the first match. So the biggest talking point, of course, is Ronald Koeman's future. Will he still be there by the turn of the year? Now, he had so much talk breaking into the top 6 and yada yada yada. Thing with this is that they bought mediocre players mostly. Number 2 is the fact that he's trying to fit all of his playmakers into the same team. Now, I'm not sure if he's seen anybody do that and are successful, but it's just not working for Everton based on the fact that their 3-man defense is leaking goals at an alarming rate. I think that's mainly based on what's this name? Ashley Williams. He's been poor. So I'm thinking they should ditch that 3 at the back and try a more traditional formation, let's call it that, because I think that if that happens, then they'll definitely have more productivity. So going with this, I'm going to give Everton the edge 1-0 because they've been having trouble scoring as well. The second Sunday kickoff and the second to last match is none other than Southampton versus Newcastle. Now, this is a game where it's kind of tough to call. Granted, Southampton have been finding it hard to score goals, while Newcastle just came back up and have a box ready to go. So let's see what happens, because Newcastle playing well under Rafa, but the fact that Southampton are at home might sway that way. Now, the fact is they fired one of their managers to bring in Claude Puel based on the fact that they said they weren't scoring enough, but it has not changed any, and I don't think that's due to the designer or the person. So that's another issue. All I know is this match should be a pretty evenly contested match. I'm going to go for Southampton winning 1-0 because they don't score a lot of goals. Now to the last game of the weekend, and that's on Monday, where Leicester host West Brom. Now, Leicester this season under Craig Shakespeare have been, I don't know, they've been pretty awful when you think about how they've played for the last few seasons. Now, what will happen in this game? That's a good question. We know how Tony Pulis likes West Brom to play solid, he can counter attack if he needs to, etc. You know, the usual Tony Pulis mode. Now, what would be the point of signing Iheanacho if you're not going to play him? So I think Leicester needs to play him and play Vardy as well, so that you can see how they combine and see if they're a good fit, etc. You won't get that from training, you'll get that in real game situations. So that's another thing to look at, is to see if Iheanacho starts, because I do think he'll score quite a bit. So with that being said, those have been the previews for this week. I will do a recap or a review of the matches, and let's see how well I do. So the Leicester match, I didn't give a score prediction, so let me give one now. I do think West Brom is going to lose, and I don't see Leicester doing too much to trouble West Brom, given the fact that they're more a defensively minded team. So let's give that 1-1 as well. So that's a 1-1 draw between Leicester and West Brom. Thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. Please, if you haven't already liked, shared, or subscribed, please do that. I really do appreciate it. Also, enable notifications, because there's some videos I want to drop that aren't necessarily going to have the heading that you're used to. So please go ahead, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks a lot.